Hello and welcome to the coronavirus update video 17.0. My name is Adrian Cockings, and if you're a first time watcher, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, then hello, welcome back. And I'm very pleased that you've come back to watch these videos especially. Today's date is the 1st of April 2020, and of course it is April Fool's Day. Now, of course, if you watched yesterday's video, we actually tried to make a little pact between all of us here on this group, and we said, no, we will not be pranking anyone, we will not be doing any practical jokes. However, this went over some people's heads, and we of course have seen some different practical jokes. Some, okay, quite funny, some others towards the coronavirus and the lockdown, especially in Spain, which I do not find funny whatsoever. So I'm going to clear up some of these just to make sure that everyone is clear, okay? So the ones that I actually did find funny were the videos of someone pranking their daughter where they put a coin and they put a pencil around the edge of that coin and they asked them to roll it down their heads because they said it was impossible, and of course they're left with a line. Great prank, something harmless, so something like that, yeah, I'm all for it, definitely. However, the pranks that have been released out, which I was quite fuming to see these coming out, were the rumours of the lockdown being lifted. The one that was going around on WhatsApp especially, and I got sent it 3 or 4 times today, asking for me to confirm whether this is true or just a prank. So the rumours were the lockdown on Murcia, Andalusia and Valencia was going to be lifted on the 9th of April because we have very low cases. But this is in fact false. This is not true. We are still going until the 12th of April. And there has been no such news about the lockdown being lifted in any community or any region of Spain, let alone just those 3. So please, if you do receive this, do not forward it on. It is fake and it is a prank, unfortunately. So just be very careful with those pranks especially, okay? Right, now as always, what I like to do a rundown of the numbers as of today. So the 1st of April 2020, we can confirm that there are 102,000 people infected. So Spain has now overpassed the 100,000 mark of people infected. This is 7,719 over the last 24 hours. The people who have recovered, there are 22,647. That is 3,338 in the last 24 hours. And unfortunately, we always mention it, the deaths. In total in Spain, there are 9,053 deaths. And that is 864 deaths in the last 24 hours. So these numbers, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about these numbers as well, because we keep getting questions of where is this information coming from. This is coming from government official pages, so we're not just getting them from random websites. However, we do like to check these with other websites as well, so we're always doing research, and so should you. But other people have asked whether we can compare these to other countries. Well, yes and no. Now, Spain have got their own kind of system for recording people who have coronavirus or people who may have the symptoms of coronavirus. And I talked about this yesterday. The 102,000 people infected with the coronavirus, this is not just the people who are put into hospitals. This is actually people who have rung the emergency services, have told them that they have symptoms, the 3 symptoms of the coronavirus, and they have been put on self-isolation at home because they're not at any risk of dying. So this is why the numbers are very different compared to other countries. So for example, the UK could be following another system where they're not recording the people who call the emergency services and have self-isolated. So these are where the numbers could be very different. Now, there was news yesterday on WHO, World Health Organization, that they are trying to combat this, and they're trying to put an individual measurement of who should be registered as coronavirus infected, who should be registered as recovered, and who should be registered as death. Well, death's obviously an obvious one, but some people have disagreed and saying, well, they should be tested for coronavirus even when they have passed on, just because we want to make sure these numbers are correct. So these numbers, we just have to be very careful with what you are reading and what you're comparing with other countries as well. Some countries may do it different, some countries may do it the same as others. So until the WHO, not the band, the World Health Organization actually implement this source of recording in a database, these numbers will be completely different between different countries, and we will never actually know an actual figure for each country and whereabouts we are in this world. So I just like to update you on the Spanish ones because we are in Spain. The people who are watching, a majority of you are in Spain. So I just like to update you with the ones that are in Spain. And I like to give you the information as well, just so you're aware of what's actually going on. Now, of course, we talked yesterday about the peak. We had yesterday the record number of the highest people infected in the last 24 hours. But today this has actually gone down by about 2,000. So again, we could be seeing the reach of the peak, but again, we don't have enough information. So we have to give it another 72 hours at least to see some sort of consistency with whether it is going down, whether it is leveling out, or if it is still going up and down and up and down. So we don't know this. So for people who are asking, are we at the peak yet? We don't know. The government officials still don't know whether we have reached it or not. And in fact, the government officials who have taken this job title as the Health Administration for coronavirus, he's actually he was admitted with coronavirus, and he's now at home self-isolating. So again, nobody is safe. All right, so let's jump into the news over the last 24 hours. I'm going to try and update you as much as possible, especially with pool cleaners and autonomo wages as well as rent. But we're going to talk about some other things as well. Hopefully some upbeat stuff to give you guys a bit of motivation to keep going, okay? So the first thing yesterday, I asked you right at the end of the video, the first thing you will do after the lockdown. What is the first thing that you're going to do? Is it going to be see a family member, go to your favorite restaurant? What is the first thing you're going to do? And you guys spammed me with thousands of messages and comments, so I really appreciate all of that. And today we're going to do the same. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you a question, okay? A nice question of the day. I want you to think about it as well. It's something that we used to do when I was teaching English, and it gets people talking. So this is what I'll do at the end as well. Right, so we're moving on, and scams is a big one. We've already talked about April Fools, and of course the messages going around saying that the lockdown will be lifted on the 9th. This is not true, but there are scams going out there at the moment. Now, the major ones at the moment, because of course people know that we are at home and we're going to be using the services for streaming, music, banking, online shopping. So these scammers know that we are at home and they know that we're going to be using these services. So what you may receive is an email from HBO or Netflix or Apple TV, Amazon Prime or Corte Inglés. And these are sending details to say your card has been declined for your monthly payment, etc. Please log in and fill in your details again. Do not click on these links. Always check the email address that they are coming from, because majority of the time they will have nothing relative to netflix.com. It will be netflixvideo.com or Netflix without an X and just a CK. So please look at the email first. If you think it is spam, then don't click on the link. Go to the internet. Don't even click on the link on the email. Go to the internet directly. Go onto Google. Go to netflix.com or hbo.com or Apple TV, whatever, and log in from there. Do not click on any emails that takes you to the website, because most likely they have built a website identical to the one they're trying to replicate, and you put in your card details. They have then got your card details and they will take you for all your money. So please be very, very careful with that. Share this with anyone as well, because some people might not know about this. Maybe someone who is not very tech savvy. So if you can share this video with them, I think that's going to be a big help for a lot of people. Also, Facebook especially. Now, this is the platform that I mainly use to get to get the information out there. I use Facebook Live. However, there are adverts at the moment. Facebook have put out a quote saying that they are trying to tackle this, but there are apparently Facebook doctors. Yes, people pretending to be doctors. They take the real names of doctors in Madrid or Barcelona, and they are trying to offer vaccines to people and also home tests for coronavirus 19. God, my mind went blank then. And they are trying to sell you products. One is a vaccine which you take orally. This is literally just sugar water, is what the Guardia Civil have said. As well as these tests, and this test is literally a little button that you put your thumb on, and it reads it, and it's got a voice command saying if you have the virus or not. This is, again, it's all fake. Nothing like that will be out yet. Unless the government is saying that we have these tests available and the governments are offering it to you, do not buy any of these tests. You're going to waste your money, okay? So please be very careful with that. All right, moving on to other news as well. We had from local sources around Murcia, but also up in Madrid and Valencia, that some medical centres are going to be closing down because of the support they have to put into the medical service in the main hospitals. So some of them will be closing down. It doesn't mean that they're going to be shut completely. However, they're going to be limiting their appointments. It will only be appointment only, so you can't walk in. So it can't be, no walk-ins basically if you have any incidents. You have to make an appointment. If you do have an emergency, you should always call 112. And that's any emergency, fire, police, health, etc. You can always call 112. And hopefully get through on that, especially. If you need to make an appointment, you should have, if you've got a medical card, you should have your regular doctor that you can contact and hopefully try and get that through. Now, some people who aren't residents here and don't have the health card in Spain have been asking as well, what can they do if they have an illness or they need a new prescription? We mentioned this in earlier videos as well, but what you can actually do is you can contact a private doctor, and there are some doctors out there who do home visits and they can actually prescribe the medicine that you do need. It's worth doing a bit of research because we have a couple that we work with and we share with clients, especially around the Murcia region, where more specifically Los Alcázares, this area. But you can look online, you can do maybe on Google just 24-hour private medical centre around the region where you are and see what comes up. That's the only advice I can give you there, okay? Right, also in the news today, Benidorm. Now Benidorm, apparently the beaches have been completely emptied, which is good, and apparently the first time in the whole lockdown, so that's within 16 days. This is the first time that they haven't had anyone on the beaches and no incidents of people who are being arrested or fined on the beach. But also in Benidorm, because they have a lot of the high skyscrapers, so anyone who is in Benidorm at the moment, in an apartment, in a high-rise, they are advising at the moment, not just anyone in Benidorm, but anyone who has a lift in an apartment block to try to limit it to one person only in that lift at a time and to use your key or gloves to touch the buttons, okay? If you have to use the lift. If you can take the stairs, even better. Try to avoid using the handrails, and if you do, make sure as soon as you get into the house, wash your hands and everything as well. Right, moving on. Some good news. Of course, this is Easter. We're coming out to the Easter holidays, the Easter weekend next week, and you've got Good Friday, Easter Monday, and what the supermarkets are now saying, normally they are shut, but most of the supermarkets now, Carrefour, Mercadona, they are going to be staying open on these festive days because, of course, they need to help out with the supply of food for everyone who is on lockdown at the moment. So yes, there is good news about that. Most supermarkets will be open, but that actually goes on to our next topic, which again I have to talk about every single video because I'm still getting messages. Supermarkets. Do I have to shop in my nearest supermarket? The answer is yes. We've had so many people saying, well, what if they don't have this? Well, what if they don't have this? We're in a state of an emergency. Now, this is up to you if you want to try and go further, but I am saying no, you should not be going further. You have to be able to prove that you need a certain product to be able to go to a further supermarket. People are also saying, what classes as a supermarket? Well, this is now up to the police. If the police are putting up roadblocks and they have stopped you and asked you where you are going, if the police think that your local corner shop, which doesn't supply fruit and veg, if they think that that is sufficient enough, then they will tell you to turn around and go back, or worse, they will fine you. And the fines have been released at 2,000 euros for people not abiding by these rules. So please, you should be going to your local supermarkets. The majority of the resorts around my area especially, they do have a supermarket on board or a spa supermarket on the resort. And this does supply fresh bread, eggs, milk, veg, fruit. So it should be enough. You shouldn't be going off the resorts if you have enough there, okay? So just be very careful out there. Please be very careful. And again, share this with people because I'm still getting questions on a regular basis, once every 10 minutes or so. Can I go to this supermarket? Can I go to this? I can't keep on top of this anymore. So you guys are going to have to be the ones to share this video out just to make sure that people understand the police say it is the nearest supermarket, okay? You can get plenty of food in most supermarkets. I know some corner shops won't stock exactly what you want, but there is still enough food that you can have, you can cook, and you can eat. Right, let's move on to the next one. We'll continue on with supermarkets. Now, there was basically a bit of news about what you should be doing, and I thought it was a very, very good bit of information about people going to the supermarkets and what you should do once you have bought the produce, etc. So, when you go to the supermarkets, the advice is you don't have to wear a mask. However, a lot of the supermarkets are advising you to have gloves, and if you don't have gloves, they will provide the gloves for you. The smaller supermarkets, they might not have this, but the workers in the supermarket should have gloves on, especially. That is by law now. And basically what they're saying, bring your own bags. Put the produce into the bags yourself, okay? Take them off the shelf into the bags. If you do have a trolley, you can use a trolley, but wipe down beforehand if you can. So that just means bringing some antibacterial wipes or some hand sanitizer or something like this. If you're wearing the gloves, even better. Once you have all the products, you've brought it, when you get home, you should then wash that bag. That's the first thing you should do. And you should wash all the fruit and veg that you have picked up. Anything that can be touched by hand, it should all be put through a wash. Now, what they're recommending at the moment is to wash the fruit and veg with water, with lemon or vinegar mixed in. So that's all they're advising at the moment. I just thought it was a good bit of information. So this is something that you could probably pass on as well. But you should be washing it with at least water, okay? That's one thing that you should be doing especially. The lemon and vinegar part, I've never tried it before, but hey, it could be something there. And also, when you come back home, you should also disinfect your wallet, your watch, your keys, your phone, God, I'm getting confused here. Your wallet, your phone, your keys, and your credit cards especially, okay? You should be trying to wipe these down. Now, a lot of people have asked, can we still use cash in these things? Yes, but they're putting in extra precautions now where they'll have like a dish or a plate where you put the money in, so it's less contact between people and people. But the advice is you should try to use credit card whenever you can, okay? Credit card or your phone if you have contactless as well. All right. Moving on, we're going to go to pool cleaners now. This has been a huge discussion over the last 24 hours. We put out yesterday, because what we have been told from police and Guardia Civil where we are, that yes, you are still available to go. And even companies, bigger companies that have got up to 1,000 pools have been told that yes, they are still allowed to go. However, we're getting mixed results from people in other areas. And they have been told, no, you can no longer clean pools. So we've tried doing research. We've tried doing everything. I've read through so many documents and PDFs on the government official website. And that is from today, yesterday, and on Monday. I was reading through about 50 different documents looking for a swimming pool, in Spanish, piscina. And I'm looking and searching, but I could not find anything else that says cleaning pool is legal. The only thing that we can present is maintenance and water treatment is the one thing that can be put in as yes, you are allowed to do. So what can we take away from this, and what advice can I give you? So if you have, or if you know a pool cleaner, can you quickly tag them in the comments? All you have to do is put a @ symbol and their name, and they should pop up. If you do that right now, they'll be able to watch this part, okay? Pool cleaners, you need to contact your local authority, because where it stands at the moment, every different region or different towns, they're doing different rules at the moment. Now, this is basically because they're trying to make an understanding of the laws that have been put into place. So it's very, very, very strange at the moment, because there's not an actual graph, there's not a word that says pool cleaning. So my advice at the moment is to contact your local authority. That is your police or Police Nacional or Police Local or Guardia Civil. If you can contact them and ask them, because many people have actually messaged me saying that they have done this and they've been given authorization of this. Now, this basically is the best advice that I can give you. I'm not going to say yes and I'm not going to say no anymore, because we've been given so many mixed results that from what we initially said yesterday, we have to backtrack on this, and we say no, we don't actually know. So what you need to do is ring your local authority, ask if you are able to, and they will give you a definite answer, because at the moment we're getting mixed results from different areas. Some saying yes, some saying no. Lawyers and solicitors and gestores, they're saying yes, and others saying no. So they're the ones reading the legal practice and the reading the laws of this, and they do this for a living. And if they're getting confused for it, imagine someone who doesn't actually speak Spanish fluently. I'm okay at Spanish, but not fluently, not in a law aspect. So just contact the local authorities. Now, I had a conversation with the local pool cleaner that was here. He was away from the fence, but we were shouting across to each other. He wanted to ask me what I thought, and he basically said what he has been told is no, the maintenance can no longer go ahead. And this is also to include STV, a very, very big company that works on a lot of the golf resorts around here. STV have actually started to be fined as well for people or their workers trimming hedges, cleaning up, etc. They've actually started to be fined. So where we are at the moment, we're in a grey area. We actually don't know what is classed as maintenance, what is classed as if it's essential, and what is classed as if they can or not. So at the moment, you need to contact your authorities. I won't be able to do this for you, I'm very sorry, but you guys need to do this for you, and you need to talk to the local authorities and see if you are able to or not. And I like that. Pool cleaning, when in doubt, leave it out. I kind of agree with you on that. I know pools can turn with this weather, hopefully not that quickly, but I know they can turn. And hopefully within the next 2 or 3 days, we'll have an actual answer, because this was put in yesterday and, Monday afternoon. So yesterday was the first day. Today we still haven't got the information. But if you guys can leave your pools for at least 2 or 3 more days, or at least until Monday next week, I know most of them should be okay. So if you can try and leave them until then, we'll hopefully get a definitive answer for you. But until then, can't do much else. Okay, going on to self-employment. We've had a lot of people saying that because of the laws, it doesn't state that self-employed people are to be going on to ERTE so they can still work. No, this is not the case, okay? A lot of people have been saying because you're self-employed, you can still work. No, okay? Please be very careful with this. You should not be working unless it is absolutely essential. I think there's been a bit of something lost in translation here, because it is only essential work. Yes, if you're a self-employed or contracted by someone, but it is only essential work. So if you're a plumber or a gasman or an electrician, if it's an emergency, someone doesn't have electricity or doesn't have water, then yes, this is classed as an emergency, and yes, you can work. But until anything else, you should not be doing anything else, okay? So please be very careful with reading this. Now, also with Autonomo, a lot of news coming out over articles on the TV. We don't have a definitive answer of what's going to be happening for the self-employed, autónomos. Now, yes, we've just paid for March. I'm self-employed, and yes, I forked out 300 odd euros specifically to pay for my my monthly fees, which is, it's high. It's one of the highest in Europe I've had to pay. Now, there are talks at the moment about that being reimbursed, but we don't know anything about that. And there are also talks about not having to pay for the next 6 months. But again, nothing has been released by government officials. I was on the live feeds from 2 meetings today, and nothing was stated about this being put into place. They are talking about it. They are still talking about the autónomos and not having to pay, or at least getting benefits back, but nothing has been put into place yet. So yes, you still have to pay for your autónomo. The one things that you could possibly do is come off autónomo, come off self-employment, but that's the only advice that I can give you. So nothing has been confirmed yet, so please share this with anyone you know who is self-employed and is worrying about money and everything, because this hasn't been confirmed yet. So we're just trying to make sure that we have all the information before sharing it out. Now remember, for those of you who don't know, self-employment is the big factor in Spain. There are over 3 million people self-employed in Spain, so of course they wanted to try and collect the money as much as possible so they can start pushing it out to benefits for other people. But 3 million people is a lot of people to try and get answers for. So bear with the system at the moment, because they are going to be under so much pressure. The same as tax returns as well. The tax website, it's basically collapsed. And this is for anyone who has to pay taxes over the next weeks or months. the tax website has actually collapsed. The amount of people who are trying to get information and trying to get in their applications and everything, it's collapsed the website, and there are people waiting up to hours to be able to log on to this website. So it's very chaotic. It is very chaotic. So at the moment, I know the government are working hard, and this is unfortunately where a lot of news is coming out as well, and it's a lot of hate because there are other government parties causing blame or putting blame on the government that is actually at the moment, and it's not helping. And this is where I want to put out to you guys: complaints and complaining and negativity is never the best answer, okay? Yes, you can ask questions. Yes, you can see if this is right or this is wrong, etc. But negativity and putting blame onto someone else is never the answer. We just always have to try and work towards something better and easier for all of us. So if people are worrying about autonomy, we're going to do research. We're going to research this and try and figure it out. But there is always a solution that we can try and come up with together instead of just one person trying to do this. So just taking it away from the government there, my little rant over there. But moving on, we've got two more things we're going to talk about. A lot of people have been asking about donations and where they can donate things, masks, food, anything like this. And the Red Cross, this is the first one they've actually put out notifications basically asking the Red Cross, or saying that the Red Cross are now accepting donations. Now, of course, there are Red Crosses all over Spain. So what you guys need to do is try and find your local one, because they're going to be everywhere, and that'll be a local number or something like this, an address maybe that you can take. I know a lot of police and Guardia Civil have actually gone around certain places and started to collect the donations as well for the Red Cross. So you'll have to try and get into contact with those. Maybe someone else has translated this on a page that you're a part of. But if you guys can do research as well, look for the closest Red Cross to you and see if you can spread out this message as well. They're looking for donations. So hopefully this would be something that you guys can put towards as well. Right, and of course, the last little bit of news, we've been talking about silver linings over the last couple of days, and we've been talking about what keeps you going. Now, we've had so many different people talking about silver linings, and one thing that actually came out in the news today, there was a woman in Madrid who was released from hospital. She was put on leave, and she is 101 years old, and she has just survived the coronavirus that was in her body. So my question to you is, if you were 101 years old, what advice would you give the younger generation? What advice would you give me? That's going to be your question of the day, because I want you guys talking. I want you guys sharing different advice, sharing things that you've learned, okay? That's what I want you guys to do. But my silver lining for today... Sammy, come here, buddy. Come here. If you do not know... this is my little boy. Now, this is Sammy. Sammy today is 3 years old. We adopted him just under 3 years ago, and he found us, basically. He found us in the mountains. He was running in the middle of the road, covered in mud. It was just before a huge thunder and hailstorm, and we rescued him up in the mountains in Gorochal. And today is his birthday, so if you guys can give Sammy a quick thumbs up or a love heart or something like that, or even a happy birthday, just so he knows that he's loved. But this is my silver lining especially. But the question is, if you were 101 years old, what advice would you give the younger generation? Myself, example, okay? I want to see some great advice that is coming in. I want to say, self-isolation and not beer the system. I like this. Happy birthday, Sammy. All right, guys, that is it for today. Remember, 8 p.m. every single night, get out onto your balconies and start applauding all the staff that are doing everything in their power to make sure that we're safe at home. Stay safe, stay inside, and I'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Every single day, we go for a live stream and we do something like this. So guys, I will see you tomorrow. And Sammy, you going to say bye-bye? Bye-bye, guys. See you tomorrow.